as we are moving further, we are talking about connective tissue. I have to talk about the three types of cartilages. What are the three? They are actually hyaline cartilage compared with elastic and fibrocartilage. We have to compare the three. But before you compare the three, let us look at them individually first. And this is hyaline cartilage. Why would you say it is hyaline cartilage? Because it is hyalose. What is hyalose? Hyalose means glass-like. What do you mean by glass-like? Why is it glass-like? Because the collagen fibers which are present in the hyaline cartilage is not evident to our eyes. It is an optical illusion. But why they are not visible? Because it is an optical illusion. That is why it is appearing glass-like. See, hyaline cartilage is called hyaline, hyalose, glass-like because the collagen fibers, despite the fact they are present there, they are not visible. It's an optical illusion. But why there is optical illusion? Because the refractive index of the collagen fiber is same as the refractive index of the matrix. And since the matrix has the same refractive index as the collagen fibers become invisible to the human eye. That is why we call it as hyalose. And what is the other feature? Where do you find it? At many places. Actually, most of the body, it is hyaline cartilage. One example is the articular cartilage. So articular cartilage, which is lining the end of the bone to keep the end of the bone smooth. Yes, they keep the end of the bone smooth, articular cartilage, and it is hyaline cartilage. What are the other features of hyaline cartilage? There are island of chondrocytes. What is that? Islands of chondrocytes, bunch of chondrocyte. So there is some island or bunch of chondrocytes, yes, and they are not lines. They are not lines. They are not making lines. They are not running in a line. Then who is running in a line? In which type of cartilage the chondrocytes run in a line? That we'll find out, but this is hyaline cartilage. Okay, then how do you know about the elastic cartilage? Elastic cartilage, like in the external ear, the pinna, you will find the elastic cartilage. It has elastic fibers. Elastic fibers means the elastic fibers we were talking about, which are short and branching. Yes, short and branching, and they are running single. So short and single and branching, yes, they not run in bundles like collagen fibers run in bundles. So these fibers are short and they run single, and they are branching fibers. This is elastic fibers in elastic cartilage. What about the chondrocytes? Chondrocytes are there, of course, because it's a cartilage, chondrocytes will be there. And what about the third one, which is fibrocartilage? If you are talking about fibrocartilage, remember it is working like a shock absorber. What is that? Shock absorber. Why do you need shock absorber? I need it between the bones. When is it between the bones? When you have the joints. So what is the problem at the joints? Joints, you know, when there are bones, they can hit each other. I don't want one bone to hit the other bone, so I'll keep a shock absorber like intervertebral disc. So one vertebra can hit the other vertebra. Yeah. So you want to keep a cushion between them, that is a shock absorber, intervertebral disc. Yes, intervertebral disc is one example. Okay, then how do you identify it? See, now it is lines of chondrocytes. Lines of chondrocytes. So there is some lines of chondrocytes. Yes, they run in lines, and they can be long lines. You mean to say you are comparing it with the hyaline cartilage where they were in bunches? Yes, here they are in lines. And moreover, to differentiate from hyaline cartilage, there is more of collagen fibers, and collagen fibers are evident. So collagen fibers are more, yes, and then they are evident also to our eye. Yes. If you are talking about fibrocartilage, you will find that there is more of collagen fiber, less of chondrocytes compared with hyaline cartilage. And these collagen fibers are evident also. So this is some basic idea. Let us compare the three again. See, What is the difference between hyaline cartilage and fibrocartilage? Difference between hyaline and fibrocartilage is hyaline cartilage is hyalose. The fibers, collagen fibers, are not evident. And in fibrocartilage, they are very much evident. The fibers are evident. And one other thing which we have seen is here the chondrocytes are in bunches, islands of chondrocytes, but there they are making lines. Can you see? They are making a long line here. See here, this is a long line of chondrocytes, long line of chondrocytes. So they are running in lines, actually alternating bundle of collagen fibers. So there is some chondrocytes and then alternating bundles of collagen fibers. In between there are collagen fibers. In between collagen fibers, and then what is it alternating with? It is alternating with the row of chondrocytes. Let's draw a diagram, then we will remember it. But how do you know it is elastic cartilage here? I know this is elastic cartilage because of these elastic fibers. Elastic fibers. And moreover, you can see one thing. Chondrocytes are larger in appearance. Chondrocytes are larger compared with what? Compared with the hyaline cartilage and fibrocartilage. So when you compare with the hyaline cartilage and the fibrocartilage, you see the chondrocytes are larger appearing in elastic cartilage. Yeah, let's draw the diagram and compare the three. As you are comparing the three, which one are they? Actually, I will put the hyaline cartilage here. And then I'll put the fibrocartilage there. So how will you differentiate between the two? Here I have bunches of chondrocyte, or you can write there is islands of chondrocytes. Now you have got islands of chondrocytes, yes, but what is there in the fibrocartilage? It is rows of chondrocyte running one after the other. So lines of chondrocyte running one after the other. Yes. And alternated by fibers, bundles of collagen fibers. So alternating bundles of collagen fibers. Yes, that is the point. What about the collagen fiber here? Actually, collagen fibers are there, but those collagen fibers are not visible. And why they are not visible in hyaline cartilage? Because the refractive index of the collagen fibers are same as the matrix, so they are not visible. They are hyalose, hyaline cartilage. Okay, so bunch of chondrocytes with no evident hyaline cartilage, hyalose appearance, hyaline cartilage. If you have alternating bundles of collagen fibers with the chondrocytes running in lines is fibrocartilage. Where do you see fibrocartilage? Fibrocartilage, we see it is a shock absorber. Yeah, shock absorber, but where do you see? Between bones and the joints. And where do you see hyaline cartilage? This is the most common type of cartilage. It is present almost everywhere in the body. And how do you differentiate it with the elastic cartilage? If you want to discuss elastic cartilage, first of all, large chondrocytes. Okay, large chondrocytes. What else? You have some elastic fibers. And how will I identify elastic fibers? They are short and single branching fibers. So, short, single and branching fibers, yes. You are comparing it with what? With collagen fibers. They are long, wavy bundle of fibers, and these are short and single fibers. So these are elastic fibers in the elastic cartilage with large chondrocytes. Now we want to know more examples of the places where they are present. You have known that elastic cartilage is present in the pinna, external ear, but I want more examples. And if you want more examples, then let us proceed further. You will see this table now, and which is telling which is the most common? Hyaline. And what about the elastic cartilage? It is the most rare cartilage. And then you have examples of fibrocartilage also. Actually, fibrocartilage we have already discussed are near the joints, like intervertebral disc working like a shock absorber, and articular disc in synovial joint between the bones. Like which bones? Like, you know, sternoclavicular joint between sternum and clavicle bone, and temporomandibular joint between temporal bone, mandible bone. So you're telling that fibrocartilage has more of type 1 collagen? Yeah, predominantly we have told it is atypical cartilage. And what is absent? What is absent is perichondrium. Perichondrium is absent. So perichondrium is absent in fibrocartilage. Yes. And examples near the joints like intervertebral disc, like articular disc. Where articular disc? In the cervical joint, like sternoclavicular joint, temporomandibular joint, and knee meniscus also. What about knee meniscus? You know, between the femur bone and the tibia bone. So between femur and tibia, you have a chance of hitting one bone with other bone. Yes, you have a shock absorber. Now, as you are talking about the examples of fibrocartilage, can you tell me the examples of elastic cartilage? Yeah, I have a mnemonic. What is the mnemonic? E cube. What is this mnemonic E cube? Do you have perichondrium here? Yeah, perichondrium is there. And it has type 2 collagen, if you remember. Elastic cartilage has type 2 collagen, fibrocartilage has type 1 collagen, perichondrium absent in fibrocartilage, present in elastic cartilage. And E cube, what is E cube? External ear, the pinna. The other E, eustachian tube, auditory tube. And the third E, epiglottis, elastic cartilage. So, external ear, the pinna, yes. Eustachian tube, the auditory tube, yes. And epiglottis, E cube, yes. Okay, then what about the others? I have some more. Tip of the nose is also elastic cartilage. Otherwise, nose cartilage is hyaline. Most of the nose cartilage, actually most of the respiratory tube is hyaline. So most of the respiratory tube is hyaline except some things like tip of nose is elastic. Where else you have elastic? Some parts of the larynx cartilage. Otherwise, larynx cartilage is hyaline cartilage. So if you say larynx cartilage is hyaline cartilage, where you don't have hyaline cartilage? Let us look at the larynx from the posterior view. You will find that where you don't have the hyaline cartilage, where you have elastic cartilage. What posterior view? You see, this is posterior view of the arytenoid cartilage. On that you have corniculate, and on that you have cuneiform. So this is the arytenoid cartilage posterior view in the larynx. Yes, and cricoid. This is corniculate, and this is the cuneiform cartilage posterior of larynx. What is about that? Understand, arytenoid cartilage is hyaline cartilage, but except the tip. What about the tip? Tip is elastic. And not only tip of arytenoid is elastic, corniculate is elastic, cuneiform is elastic. You mean to say that tip of the arytenoid and the corniculate and cuneiform cartilage are all elastic cartilages? Yeah. Can be seen from the posterior view of the larynx. And what about the rest of the arytenoid cartilage? It is hyaline. What about the other cartilage of larynx? It is hyaline, because respiratory tube is mostly hyaline. See here. See, hyaline cartilage is having perichondrium or not? Yeah, of course. But except the articular cartilage. Articular cartilages will not have perichondrium. So you mean to say perichondrium is present in the hyaline cartilage, but except the articular cartilage, they don't have perichondrium? No. And this is the most common type. Baby develop in hyaline cartilage. Later bones will form. So all the bones, almost all the bones are hyaline cartilage in the beginning. What about the growth plate and articular cartilage? They are hyaline variety. What about the respiratory tube? Respiratory tube, we have told most of the respiratory tube is hyaline with few exceptions. You have already known the exceptions like tip of arytenoid, corniculate, cuneiform. That was not hyaline, that was elastic. What about costal cartilage? That is rib cartilage, and it is also hyaline variety. So just try to memorize some of the examples of hyaline as well. You see, this diagram will tell you repeat information. It's repeat information. You see, again we are talking about cartilages. Blue color is hyaline. Where is hyaline? We have just seen this. All the articular cartilages are hyaline. And maybe it is knee joint, ankle joint. Yeah, but not the meniscus. Meniscus is red color. What is red color? Fibrocartilage. So meniscus is red color, the fibrocartilage. Yeah, we have seen the knee menisci are like shock absorber preventing the hitting of femur with the tibia bone. So that will be fibrocartilage. Yeah. And otherwise femur and tibia are lined by some articular cartilage, which is hyaline cartilage. Yes. Okay, then where is elastic cartilage? If you talk about the elastic cartilage, then you can see it is in the respiratory tube. Where in the respiratory tube? The epiglottis. And where else? The pinna. So when you're talking about the first E, external ear, pinna, second E, eustachian tube, and third E, epiglottis, this is all elastic cartilage. Where else do you see elastic cartilage? Some parts of the respiratory tube with elastic cartilage. Otherwise, respiratory tube is mostly, maybe it is most of the larynx or trachea or the bronchus. This is all hyaline cartilage. So even the nose cartilage is respiratory tube, is hyaline. So respiratory tube begin with the nose, and nose cartilage or the larynx cartilage or the trachea bronchus, this is all hyaline cartilage. But if you say tip of the nose, then it is elastic cartilage. Tip of the arytenoid, it is elastic cartilage. Now, once you are through these details, what about the costal cartilage, rib cartilage? Actually, costal cartilage, rib cartilage is also hyaline. In fact, most of the cartilages in the body are hyaline. You have to remember. Now, once you said that, fine. We are now looking at this question. What do you think is the answer? If you're talking about fibrocartilage, I know what? It is a shock absorber. So I have seen the shock absorber someplace. Where? And you know the answer is intervertebral disc. Then what about costal cartilage? What about the nasal septum? Maybe it is costal cartilage or maybe it is nasal septum. It was hyaline variety. And what did you see in the auditory tube? Auditory tube, I know. Yes, auditory tube is elastic cartilage. This is one question which is showing you some diagram-based cartilage and asking that where do you find it? First of all, you have to understand what this is. But they already told that this is some chondrocytes. Now, if these are chondrocytes, can you see they are in bunches? Can you see that the matrix appears hyalose? You mean it is a hyaline cartilage? Yes. Okay. If it is hyaline cartilage, I know the answer. Now, where? Where is the answer? You will see that if it is intervertebral disc, it cannot be. Why? Because it is fibrocartilage. This is not fibrocartilage. So, can it be articular disc? Articular disc, no. Why? Because it is also fibrocartilage. Like you have seen in the temporomandibular joint, sternoclavicular joint, shock absorber. Then what is the answer? Answer is obviously epiphyseal plate. What is that? The other name of growth plate. Now, if you say the answer is epiphyseal plate or other name of growth plate, is it hyaline cartilage? Yeah, it is hyaline cartilage. We'll later see the development of bone and there you'll find that it is hyaline cartilage. Then what is pinna? Pinna, we already know, is elastic cartilage. That is elastic cartilage. So we'll keep our answer as epiphyseal plate, the growth plate. Yeah, because this diagram is that of hyaline cartilage.